Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 26th of January, Friday, so first of all, let me wish you a wonderful day and a great upcoming weekend. Now it's 10:30 in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my first update for a day in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. There are quite a few very significant developments and news that I like to share with you for this moment, and I will start with a short summary of the situation on Ukrainian battlefield. According to report of Russian Defense Ministry, yesterday's report on progress of special military operation as a result of local scale skirmishes, artillery duels, taken in force operations and local scale offensives, Ukrainian armed forces lost all along the front line about 1,000 military personnel, few dozen of military equipment, including tanks, armored personnel carriers, infantry fighting vehicles, artillery systems, and so on. Russian forces significantly increased pressure all along the front, especially in Krasny Liman sector of the front line. And on this direction, Ukrainian armed forces lost about 270 military personnel. Main hotspots are area from Tarskoe to Terny and Novosadova, all along this part of Zhiribets river here, and Yampolovka also, of course. And I would not be surprised if next week we will see significant, on a scale of sector, progress of Russian armed forces in this direction. And of course, most active sector of the front is usually Donetsk sector, Avdiivka direction, flanks of Bakhmut, and according to Russian Defense Ministry, Ukrainian armed forces lost about 300 military personnel in Donetsk sector of the front. Also, pressure was increased significantly on Zaporozhye sector, and Ukrainian armed forces lost in this direction, mainly in Orekhov bridgehead area, more than 100 military personnel killed and wounded, and quite possibly next week we will see withdrawal of Ukrainian armed forces from Rabotina and this field between Rabotina and Verbova. This is highly likely, as I understand, because I don't think Ukrainian armed forces in this area will be able to withstand this increased pressure any longer. Let's see how the situation develop, and this is it for a short summary of the situation on Ukrainian battlefield. Still operational pause all along the front, and main hotspots are, as I mentioned, Avdiivka, of course, surrounding area, Bakhmut, flanks of Bakhmut, northern flank, southern flank, and Krasny Liman sector of the front line areas between Terny and Yampolovka, Tarskoe. And next week, probably, as I said, we will see some significant changes on a sectoral scale in these areas. Now let's talk about some additional news. Although before I start, let me remind you that if you are interested in more detailed information on these changes on line of contact, I recommend military channels. I have a number of them in recommendation list under this video in description box. You can check those channels if you want to. There are some other military channels also. So now let's talk about other news. And RIA Novosti's report here that according to head of Russian Foreign Intelligence Service, Sergei Narishkin, British intelligence service MI6 is training Ukrainian DRGs, Ukrainian sabotage groups, to conduct provocation against Russian nuclear power plants. This is very strong statement. Very dangerous stuff is going on part of London's activity, and let's hope nothing will happen and London will change its mind, because if any provocation will occur on Russian nuclear power plants, then I guess that will be a red line which Moscow will not ignore, and there will be some repercussions. There will be some countermeasures taken by Moscow. Very dangerous development. It seems like some governments in the collective West really are losing control over themselves and acting extremely dangerously. And this information from Narishkin only confirms that. I mean, you cannot mess with nuclear power plants, man. What kind of crazies really are in that MI6 and in British government? Are they really out of their minds? Anyway, let's continue. Kommersant newspaper is reporting that, well, interestingly enough, energy minister of Ukraine, German Galushenko, made a statement that they are planning to build four nuclear power blocks in Ukraine to compensate for losses in generation of electricity as a result of strikes of Russian armed forces on military and logistical infrastructure of Ukrainian side of Kyiv regime. And as you all know, time to time, energo facilities are also targeted, but energo facilities that are non-nuclear. Hydropower plants may target some other stations, but not nuclear power stations. And maybe that's why Kyiv regime thinks that they're going to build nuclear power stations, because they are safe. Russia never targets, of course, these stations. But yet again, this information looks like also provocation. Under pretext of building nuclear power stations, Kyiv regime may receive from Western states some nuclear materials, and then that nuclear material may be used in dirty bomb. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Kyiv regime cannot be trusted. So whenever I hear anything about nuclear energy in correlation with Kyiv, it does makes me a little nervous, because from Zelensky and his criminal associates, anything can be expected. And well, let's hope nothing will happen first of all, and then Western ruling class will behave themselves, will act as a serious people, and will not allow Kyiv regime to mess with the nuclear energy. RT's report, I did mention this topic yesterday in headlines, and then I spoke about this in the second update also on Patreon. RT reports that according to statement of Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, Turkey is unlikely to let US warships enter Black Sea. This is very important topic, and well, let's read several sentences here. US will not be able to pressure Turkey to allow access for its warships to the Black Sea aimed the Ukrainian conflict, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has stated, speaking at the press conference in New York on Wednesday, where he was attending a UN meeting on Ukraine and the Middle East. Lavrov was asked on whether Turkey could abrogate the Montreux Convention, which is regulating maritime traffic via Bosphorus and the Dardanelles Straits, connecting the Aegean and the Black Seas. The question came after Pentagon's official Celeste Wallander said on Tuesday that Washington wanted to work with the Black Sea powers, including Turkey, to move away from the state of conflict, which allow Ankara to block warships from passing through the Turkish straits. Well, I think Lavrov has every reason to be this confident that Turkey will not violate Montreux Convention, which is not allowing warships from non-Black Sea region countries to enter Black Sea, and even Black Sea region countries cannot bring warships into the sea. For example, Russia cannot transfer its military warships from other fleets to the Black Sea. Even Turkey cannot bring into Black Sea additional warships while military conflict is going on in this region, as I understand. Well, I don't think Ankara will violate this Montreux Convention, which is almost 100 years old now. This is a long-standing agreement. And RIA Novosti yesterday contacted the administration of Turkish leader, Turkish president, and asked question about Montreux Convention, if there is any changes in Ankara's approach to the convention, and Riyanovsky received answer that there is no changes, and Turkish government has no plans at all to do anything when it comes to Montreux Convention. Turkey was working according to this convention, will continue to do so, which is quite understandable, by the way, because if Ankara will violate Montreux Convention and allow warships from other countries, non-Black Sea region countries, to enter this area while conflict is going on, then of course that will totally destroy relationships between Turkey and Russia, and I don't think it will benefit Turkey at all. It will devastate Turkey. That's what will happen, and I don't think Ankara is in position now to risk with relationships with Russia. And to continue topic, why Turkey may not violate Montreux Convention, I will give you this information that yesterday, which is from 25th of January, yesterday Turkish Central Bank increased key rate for 2.5% up to 45%, which is, I mean, we all know how devastating situation in the economy are when key rates are on the level of 45%. So Turkish economy definitely is in very bad situation, in very bad state, and in terms of inflation, in terms of investment, in terms of everything basically. And if relationships between Moscow and Ankara will deteriorate or broke down, Turkish economy may just collapse. Turkish economy may just simply collapse. So no matter how much pressure Washington gonna put on Turkey, Turkey cannot violate Montreux Convention because it will be basically suicide for Turkey. RT is reporting that according to Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico, Turkey is open for negotiations to continue transit of Russian gas after 2024. And by the way, this statement of Fico comes after his meeting with the Prime Minister of Ukraine, Shmyhal, that took place in Transcarpathia region day before yesterday. I did a report about this meeting, and well, it's interesting that yesterday media outlets reported about Ukraine's reaction on the statements of Prime Minister of Slovakia, and well, Ukrainian side denied that they are ready or willing to sign new contract with Russia on transit of gas. So very strange situation, and I'll remind you, dear friends, that current contract between Russian and Ukrainian energy companies on transit of Russian gas will end this year, will end in 2024, and at this point there are no negotiations, no contract, even draft in the place that sides can work on 2025 and the years after that. And of course, some European states are worried about it because they are still receiving huge volumes of Russian pipeline gas through infrastructure, through Ukrainian pipeline infrastructure. So let's see how the situation develop there. I think it will take, I don't know, man, a year, maybe two, and eventually this conflict will end in Ukraine. And as I said many times before, Russian side will establish full control over the significant majority of Ukrainian territory, and with the exception of western regions. And therefore, this infrastructure that is now in Ukraine will be under Russian control, and then Russia can directly sign contracts with some EU member states that want to receive pipeline gas from Ukraine. So it don't really matters at this point if Ukrainian side will sign any contract with Russia or not. Ukraine will not exist after this conflict will end anyway. Let's continue now, and RT's report here that Iran is legitimate target according to high-ranking Israeli officials. Let's go through this very dangerous statement. So Iran is now legitimate target for Israeli attacks. Economy Minister Nir Barkat has told the Telegraph rising fears of armed conflict with Tehran. He also claimed that the war in Gaza is not being fought with enough aggression by the Israeli Defense Force. I mean, this individual, you tell me what is wrong with him, but this individual thinks that IDF is not using enough force in Gaza Strip. Man. I mean, entire world is shocked by actions of IDF, but for him, there is not enough force being used. But I mean, that's a reality in Israel, by the way. That's high-ranking officials that this country has at this point. And also a very dangerous statement in regards to Tehran that Iran is legitimate target. Once again, we have an additional indicator that this region, Middle East, is getting closer and closer to regional conflict. And unfortunately, as time goes by, I'm afraid these indicators will only increase. Yesterday, I was watching a live stream on Duran show, and host of Duran, Alexander Mercuris, had a very good point while he touched upon topic of possible withdrawal of U.S. forces from Syria, and I report about rumors that are circulating for last several days in internet. This information came from Chinese media outlet, I believe, Asia Times or something like that. That Pentagon is considering now to withdraw its forces from Syria, and well, Mercuris reacted on this topic and said that it may seem like, if this is true, and Pentagon is considering to withdraw its forces from Syria, it may seem like step towards de-escalation from Pentagon, but in reality, it may mean exactly the opposite. That Washington is withdrawing forces from the vulnerable areas. Washington is withdrawing vulnerable bases while maybe preparing for a war with Iran, for further escalation in the Middle East. And this is quite a logical reading of the big picture, I believe. Maybe exactly that is happening. And US will withdraw its forces, especially vulnerable units or bases, to make sure that they can, minimize casualty numbers if US will get engaged in yet another Middle Eastern war, this time with Iran. And who's gonna provoke war with Iran? Of course, Netanyahu and his government, Israeli government. And when we are talking about Iran, of course, we have to mention Lebanese Hezbollah. And we hear time after time strong statements, very strong and dangerous statements from Israeli government towards Iran, towards Lebanese Hezbollah. So risks that we may really end up in the regional war in the Middle East is quite high. And I said quite a number of times, by the way, why I think Western ruling class wants to provoke this regional war in the Middle East. In my understanding, main goal for Western ruling class is to shut down shipping in the Persian Gulf and the Hormuz Strait and cut off China from Middle Eastern energy sources. Then, therefore, increase Chinese dependence on Russian energy on extreme levels, and then after some time use its assets that they have in Russia to conduct some regime change or to one way or another put in power pro-Western forces and move Russia from China, and therefore basically create situation when China will end up in a kind of corner, when they already lost a Middle Eastern source of energy, which is a major source, and they will be in a situation when they are risking now lose energy supplies from Russia, and therefore China may be forced to act aggressively, even militarily, to secure closest gas and oil fields to China. And if you take a look at the map, closest oil and gas fields to China are in Central Asia, mainly Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan countries, and of course Russia. Russia already is #1 supplier of energy, oil in particular, to China. And if China will lose Middle Eastern oil, then well, Chinese dependence on Russia will reach unprecedented scale, obviously. So that's what is the plans of the Western ruling class, in my understanding. They won't create regional war in the global East, global South, which will devastate entire this area, entire world, by the way. But I don't think they care that much. But especially it will be devastated, of course, global East, global South, because any conflict, if they manage to provoke conflict between Russia and China, of course India will get involved one way or another, then Pakistan will get involved, and we are talking about nuclear powers, by the way. So you can imagine how devastating consequences will be of such a confrontation. And then, you know, Western ruling class may get involved in the final stage and just finish off everybody, so that there will be no more centers of power in this world that can even have ambitions to challenge Western ruling class. That's what is going on. This is all about power and control. Anyway, let's continue. Let's hope my reading of big picture is mistaken, and let's hope Western ruling class are not planning to provoke any regional conflict in the Middle East and then global conflict. But well, we all know what kind of people are those so-called Western elites. Therefore, risks are quite high, I guess. Anyway, let's continue. RT's report that Texas governor defies Biden. We all know that these days between Austin and Washington, between Texas and Washington, there's some row going on, and Supreme Court supported basically Biden's decisions, or neolibs, by making illegal all the steps that Texas is taking to secure its border. And well, situation is tense, of course. I did share on my Telegram this morning some short videos, and well, the Eagle Pass situation continues to heat up. US President Joe Biden issues 24-hour deadline to the state of Texas to comply with the Supreme Court of the US ruling and turn over the border patrol posts to federal government of or face the consequences for not doing it. I mean, strong statements are made from one side, from other side, but well, let's hope they will manage to resolve issues without any real escalation, because US is a nuclear country, by the way, nuclear powerhouse, and nobody needs any internal conflict in US, because it will devastate entire world. Same goes for Russia also, by the way. No one should even think about internal confrontation in Russia, because both countries, by the way, Russia and US, have enough weapons which will be enough to exterminate entire humanity 10 times, and then still will be left enough weapons to do it another 10 or 20 times. So one should always be careful about, you know, it's a saying, isn't it, in the West, be careful what you wish for. So some people may be, kind of happy that, some civil war may happen in US and that kind of stuff. But no, man, let's hope nothing like that will happen, because it will be dangerous for everybody. And I'm quite sure situation will be resolved without any real escalation. Compromise will be found, and I think I did spoke about this topic yesterday during the live stream on Rumble, during the Telegram Reports program, and I said that, and I think this is quite correct reading of the big picture, that in my opinion, most likely sides will reach some compromise. Biden will implement some border protecting measures on the south, and for that Republicans will vote for Biden's military aid package, in which some 61 billion supposed to go to finance this proxy war in Ukraine, 14 billion supposed to go for Israel, 10 billion for Taiwan, and the rest of the amount of money for border security. And most likely that's gonna be compromised. That's how this situation gonna get resolved eventually. Biden will agree to implement some border security measures, and Republicans will vote for Biden's military aid package. No state gonna declare independence. No civil war gonna happen in US. None of it is realistic. Some strong statements will be made, but eventually situation will get resolved peacefully with some compromises. I have no doubts about that. Let's continue. And RT is reporting that US is negotiating future of its troops in Iraq, according to media reports. And this morning I also shared this on my Telegram channel report that Iraq's defense minister Thabet Mohammed Saeed al-Abbasi made statements that Iraqi American Supreme Military Committee will resume its dialogue with the international coalition, this is US coalition, in the next few days, after issuing special order in this regard by the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And he said that Iraqi armed forces are fully prepared for the withdrawal of coalition forces and to take a full control of the security over the country, in the country. So I guess US Pentagon is considering withdrawal of its troops, not just from Syria but also from Iraq, because those forces are quite vulnerable, especially in Syria. Let's see how this discussion between two sides, between Iraqi and the US sides, will go down. In Iraqi Kurdistan region, US forces may be somewhat secure. US bases, although in recent days we did see huge number of strikes on US bases exactly in this region of the Iraq. Therefore, it does make sense if US is preparing for a war, for a regional war in the Middle East. It does make sense to withdraw these vulnerable bases from Iraq and Syria. Maybe that's what will happen. RTs report that Erdogan, by the way, signs off on NATO expansion. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has formally ratified Sweden's bid to join the NATO. Yesterday, Turkish Parliament ratified Swedish bid. Now President of Turkey. So formally, Ankara did everything that was requested from it to allow Sweden to join NATO. So decision was finalized after months of political wrangling over the Nordic states' stance towards Kurdish militant groups deemed terrorist by Ankara. And I guess at this point it's only a matter of, I don't know, months or two, and Sweden will become next member of NATO. I don't really understand why Swedish elites make such a decision, why they could not withstand the pressure from Washington and London, because they enjoy this somewhat neutral status while being part of Western coalition, including militarily, by the way, although officially Sweden was not part of NATO. And why they did it, who knows, man. For Russia it changes nothing, because Sweden was part of this anti-Russian Western coalition anyway. But for Sweden it does make changes, because it's no longer gonna be seen by world as a neutral, and therefore less investments, less trust, less everything, which will in long run definitely will have a quite impact on Sweden, Swedish economy, and eventually in the social fabric in this country. But anyway, it's their decision, their right, and well, it is what it is. RIA Novosti's report, by the way, that, well, according to declassified information, declassified by US, Boris Yeltsin, first Russian president, in 1994, while having a meeting with the Clinton, president of US at the time, made a statement that if NATO will begin if NATO will begin receiving new members, then Russia is supposed to be first to join NATO. That was approach of first Russian president, that Russia should become part of this collective West. Russia should join NATO, and US, Russia, and Europe should be somewhat unified bloc or force in the world. But then things, of course, didn't go this way. Things changed quite rapidly, and the Western ruling class began escalating with Russia, especially after 2008, after 2007, 2008. And, well, I guess that's why Putin recently said that he was somewhat naive when it comes to relationships with the West, because he I guess also had some hopes that there can be partnership between Russia, real partnership between Russia, Europe, and North America. And you know, eventually he did realize that there is not even slight chance that current ruling class of the West will ever take Russia as a partner. They will never see Russia as an equal partner. They will never see Russians as equals. And well, therefore no more illusions. And we are where we are. Those Western ruling class men, they really are Nazis. They really are racists. They think themselves as probably as some kind of gods, or I don't know, man. They are sick. They are sick people. Ruling class of the West. They truly are sick, man. Artists report that the German Chancellor rejects claims that he is set to resign. Okay, but rumors themselves are quite telling, because if he had any real support of German society, I don't think these kind of rumors will even exist. But he because he is almost, I mean, least popular politician, least popular chancellor that Germany ever had, possibly. Well, that's why rumors are circulating, and yet again, I don't think it's up to Scholz. Will he stay as a chancellor or not? I think this type of decisions, who gonna be chancellor of Germany, are made not really in Berlin. Those decisions made in Washington. And well, one should ask Washington, who will Chancellor of Germany resign or not, and who will be next Chancellor. RT is reporting that this is also quite interesting, that Eritrea, by the way, denied entry to its airspace German plane that was carrying Annalena Baerbock, foreign minister of Germany, and as a result of it, this plane was basically forced to land in Saudi Arabia to refuel, I guess, and then Annalena Baerbock continue her foreign trip. She will visit a number of countries, Djibouti, Sudan, and Kenya, if I'm not mistaken. And in Sudan, she is going to try and negotiate between conflicting sides to bring them to some sort of agreement. And when I was reading this news, by the way, I was laughing, because I was smiling, because Annalena Baerbock to conduct some negotiations in Sudan between conflicting parties in South Sudan, by the way. If you tell her, if you give her a map and tell her where is Sudan, where is South Sudan, I don't think she will be able to show you. So what the heck is going on, man? Why German government is, I mean, acting this shamelessly, man? This Annalena Baerbock should never leave Germany, man. At least while she is a foreign minister, because she is a shame of Germany. It's just too shameful, really. I mean, no, really. I mean, I don't have any issues with this individual. I don't care about her, but I mean, she is a foreign minister. If she was a private citizen, who cares, man? But she is foreign minister of major European power, and she is just too uneducated. I mean, too stupid, really. And it's a shame that country has this type of foreign minister, man. And it's just it's not right when someone like Annalena Baerbock is acting as a foreign minister and gonna participate in some peace talks and bring together conflicting sides in Sudan. By the way, as I said, man, I don't think she has any idea where Sudan is on the map. Anyway, let's continue. TASS news agency is reporting that great comic of Brussels, von der Leyen, may stay as head of European Commission, because she may go for a second run. Recently, there were some rumors that Estonia's prime minister may be appointed on this post, because von der Leyen was thinking to run for a seat in European Parliament or something like that. But now we are receiving information that she may be named once again as a head of a European Commission. And well, let them do so, man. I mean, we all get used to her crazy statements, and she makes us smile time to time. And well, if you don't take her seriously, because I mean, she makes too crazy statements, and I mean, she's extremely Russophobe, and I mean, all that stuff. If you take a look at her as if she's a comedian and acting on the stage, then I mean, you may even smile time to time. You know, who gonna ever forget this washing machine stuff and then, you know, chips. And by the way, she has fans. She has quite a big number of followers, because recently U.S. representative in UN was talking about not washing machines but fridges, that Russia is taking chips from some fridges and to make some missiles, or I don't know, man. These guys are, I mean, really something special. So we need this type of people to laugh time to time, you know, because the world is definitely going down in some very, very unpleasant place. RT is reporting that Canada investigates election interference by India, yet another round of escalation between Ottawa and New Delhi. So Ottawa is investigating India as a part of probe into suspected foreign interference in the 2019 and 2021 national elections. The development comes against the backdrop of a diplomatic row between the two countries after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau alleged that Indian agents could have been involved in the assassination of the Sikh activist on Canadian soil. Well, too bad for both countries, by the way. Too bad for societies of both countries, for Canada and for India, that relationships are deteriorating this much. But what you gonna do? And I think, by the way, this pressure on Canada, on India, this pressure is not just from Canada. This is a message from collective West, let's say, to India to apply to Western sanctions against Russia, to act according to Western wishes or Western directives. But no matter what Western ruling class gonna do, and India is a self-sufficient civilization, one of the greatest ones in this world, in human history. And I don't think how anybody can force India to do something that is not in best interests of Indian society, especially if you take in account relatively recent history of India and what United Kingdom did to this great nation. So therefore, no matter how hard gonna try Western ruling elites, they will never gain a full control over India again, and they will never manipulate with India as way they want to. Which is great, by the way, for this world, because we need independent, strong India as one more polus of force in this, one more geopolitical polus in this world. Because we are moving towards multipolar world, at least trying. And we need India, we need China, we need Russia, we need Brazil, we need South Africa, we need Middle Eastern countries, by the way. In ideal world, we need US and we need Europe, just and friendly US and Europe. But at this point, in both cases, we have extremely aggressive forces. I mean, who can argue with that? I mean, US and EU, they are extremely aggressive because of the ruling elites that they have, because of the Western ruling class. Anyway, let's continue. RT is reporting that, well, I did mention this on yesterday's headlines also. Electric cars will never dominate global market, according to Toyota boss. Interesting statement. Let's go through some details here. So electric vehicles will never dominate the market and consumers should not be forced to buy them, Toyota chairman Akko Toyota stated in comments published on the company's website on Tuesday. Battery-powered vehicles will only ever reach 30% of global market, while the rest will comprise hybrids, hydrogen, fuel cell, and fuel-burning cars, according to the head of the Japanese car maker. Toyota believes that EVs, electric vehicles, should not be developed to the exclusion of the other technologies at the time when 1 billion people worldwide still live without electricity, while battery-powered EVs are expensive and need charging infrastructure. Speaking at the business event earlier this month, Toyota, whose grandfather founded Toyota in Japan in 1937, called for a multi-pathway approach. He added that the shift towards EVs will not happen as quickly as many think, and that customers, not regulators or politics, should make the decisions referring to the net zero emission targets many Western governments are pushing for. Quite understandable statements, really, from head of Toyota. Absolutely. I would not buy electric car, by the way, myself, if I had the opportunity, because I just don't want it. But you know, I can understand why some other people may buy it. It may look fun, you know. It has a great acceleration because it's electric. They are very fast cars, but I don't care about that. So, well, if I have opportunity, if I had the opportunity to buy a car, I will definitely buy an ordinary car, man. Not electric one. And not because I don't care about climate change and stuff like that. I just don't believe in climate change agenda of Western globalists. Climate change is happening, but it's happening not because of human involvement. It's happening because of some natural stuff that's going on the sun, on our planet, because these global changes in climate was happening for millions and billions of years before humans even existed on this planet. So I'm not buying into this globalist agenda that humans somehow are, you know, making climate worse on this planet, and therefore we should all buy some, I don't know, man, electric cars. We should stop eating beef, or we should all stop eating meat at all and become vegetarians or something like that. I mean, this is too crazy, man. I don't need none of it from those globalists, man. Let's continue. Interfax is reporting that, well, Brent, by the way, reached its maximum price, Brent crude, for the last 2 months, $81. I mentioned this also in yesterday's updates, and this is a good news for Russian energy sector, because Russian Urals is price for Russian Urals is somewhat dependent on price of Brent, and if Brent is $81, then Russian Urals most likely are also somewhere there. And well, let me same time, by the way, WTI is selling for 76.24 for a barrel. Usually Brent always more expensive than WTI. And this is it for now. Hopefully this update is not too long. 48 minutes. Wow, still long, but at least not 1.5 hours. And well, this is it for now. Hopefully you will find this update interesting, and if so, please click that like button, leave some commentary, and share video with your friends. It will help me to reach wider audience and deal with algorithms, especially on YouTube, because YouTube algorithm is something out of this world, man. Extremely aggressive. And if you can, and if you think that this project with these several channels, several programs are interesting, useful, informative, and deserves to exist, and if you can, by the way, please consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, and by subscribing to my Patreon page. You can see links under this video in the description box or in the pinned comment. You can tell I'm a little tired, isn't it? It's a Friday, man. We make it to another Friday. Wow, that's good. Tomorrow is my day off also, so that's nice. Anyway, bye for now. Take care.